What is going on, family? How is everybody doing? Please, we're going to try to keep it short and sweet tonight. Short and sweet. Listen, I hope everybody is doing okay. I hope you all are having an absolutely wonderful time. I hope you are not getting criticized along the lines of Jean-Pierre. I hope you all are doing well. Listen, let me just say something real quick. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. Please hit all the buttons. You know, they bring us up and they drop us down in terms of what they do here to us in this space. But we're gonna make it do what we needed to do. Today we have something to talk about. If you all have not seen it, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen it, Karine, I said Christian or something, I said something else. But Karine JeanPierre has a book that is coming out. Former press secretary, ladies and gentlemen, has a book, and it's not nothing out of the way for someone who was a former press secretary or a member of an administration to write a book. But apparently, her book is going to be about the last 3 months when everybody piled on Biden. She'd never seen anything like this. So much so, apparently, that she has decided that she is now going to be an independent. She is no longer a Democrat, ladies and gentlemen. She is an independent. And before we get into this, I want to take everybody down memory lane for just a second, okay? Just a moment before we get into this. I want to remind everybody about the retracted Kennedy School disinformation creep about ADOS and strategic weaponization of breaking news. They had to retract that thanks to everyone in the ADOS Advocacy Foundation and Truth. Truth required that you retract this. But I want to take a moment to remind everybody that Karine JeanPierre she was in the proximity to suppress lineage because of where she worked during that period of time. Now, I want to remind everybody how many people from Move On were a part of this smear campaign. If you look at the authors for this, I want to remind you how many people from Move On were a part of this. I see 5 people, right? And so I have questions. I'm just letting you know that before we even get into what she did and her provocative performance, I want to let you know that I have questions that deserve answers that have never been given answers. Maybe Joy Reid can answer them. Apparently, she couldn't get no job neither, and she about to be on YouTube. I told Roland when he was on YouTube, I gotta have a media. Y'all offer to be on YouTube. So maybe somebody can answer this for me. That's all. Just answer this for me, how we got them in and Move On people. Now, well, you have no, I'm not talking about what I have in terms of, let me see if I can find this other thing. I'm not talking about I'm talking about where you were and what you had the ability to do during a certain period of time. That's what I'm talking about. That's it for me. That's all I'm talking about. Because I'm not going to be here long night. I just want to have a conversation about it. See, if you all remember, Jean-Pierre served as Chief Public Affairs Officer and National Spokesperson for MoveOn.org from 2016 to 2020. And that's why I get so mad when, oh, she's the first gay Black woman. Oh my God. Like, that's the representation we got. We got this person who is Haitian American, so that's a different lineage. 2016 to 2020, she was at Move On. Now, the article about us came in the beginning of 2021. But it was written long before. I mean, what was it? The retraction. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the end. Yeah, they did it so we couldn't sue them. Anyway, I'm going to show you that it takes a while to put out an article. So I already have an issue with her, and she's never answered for this. Right. And we never require nobody to answer for nothing because, like I said, we don't have accountability. So we don't say, hey, answer for what was going on. You were there from 2016 to 2020. We know how long that it takes an article to go through the process of metrics and how many weeks and all that kind of thing. So you had 5 people on there, right? On this ADOS smear. I already have a problem with you. Submission first 7 days, submission to first post review 42 days, submission to acceptance 120 days, submission acceptance to publication 30 days, and that doesn't even include all the edits. So during the time that this was being written, Jean-Pierre had access, proximity to all of this suppression and smearing that was going on. So this is something that she has never answered for, and I have always had a problem with her not answering for. Why do you have all of these people on this smear? Why? And you're the national spokesperson for this place, right? How national spokesperson and public affairs officer. So as a public affairs officer, why do you have so many people on this ADOS smear, Ms. Jean-Pierre? You gotta think about that. The first Black, quote unquote, press secretary was somebody with a French name, Ms. Jean-Pierre. Not no Negro named Washington. We got not none of us. Williams the first. They swapped them out. Remember, they were supposed to remember some. It was Simone Sanders. She was over there with. She was with Biden and Jean-Pierre. She was over there with Kamala. They swapped them out. So before we talk about all of that, I just want to make sure everybody understands. This is why This is why I have a problem with her to start with. So I want to be honest about them 5 names that were on that disinformation creep, which was a smear, which later got retired. I want to be honest about how that impacts what we're talking about and how that casts her in a different light for me from the beginning. And it should for you too. Especially like if those of you all who were not in the org, y'all don't know what we went through. Y'all have no idea. If you weren't in there, you have no idea what we went through. We had people telling us Harvard don't retract. You might as well get that up. People in our own community. I still got screenshots of y'all, of some of y'all little naysayers who were like, no, they're real naysayers and fake. You said this ain't never gonna happen. Y'all might as well just give this up. Y'all just wasting time. I got you. I got you too. Don't worry, baby. I got all the screenshots. I got all the screenshots. I got screenshots of all kinds of things. Backed up. So this is my initial issue with her. Now, as we move on, I want to talk about political mercenaries. Right? I want to talk about her in the framing of that. So for those of you all who don't know and you don't have the backstory of what happened, I'm going to give you the backstory before I go into that. So Karine JeanPierre is leaving the Democratic Party. Her former White House colleagues have some thoughts. Everybody, before I get into it, everybody just says she's grifting, trying to sell the book. She's trying to get on TV. She's trying to get famous. But I don't want to get in the way of what you need to hear. Karine JeanPierre's announcement that she's leaving the Democratic Party, timed with the rollout of a new book, has detonated long-simmering grievances among her former White House colleagues about Jean-Pierre's pursuit of celebrity and personal media exposure while serving as then President Joe Biden's press secretary. Listen, Joe Biden was burdened with quote-unquote black women, and neither one of them made us. He couldn't stand Kamala. He said Kamala was incompetent. I saw some of that. You still shouldn't call people and say, you got to choose me because Kamala cannot do it. You still not supposed to do that. We talked about that on Patreon. You cannot do that, but he said that. Karine JeanPierre was extremely incompetent and did not have the biography to be a press secretary. So he was burdened. So that's why I hate this flat blackness, because those of us who have been burdened with, hey, we have to work twice as hard to get where white folk have gotten. We are now burdened by the incompetence of 2 quote unquote black women who are not ADOS. Everybody knows Jean-Pierre should have been fired a long time ago. She should have been giving her walking papers. Hey, let's get to stepping. Let's go. You over here mangling and bangling things. You don't know how to answer questions. You reading directly out of the binders and stuff like that. You are giving non-answer answers. You never had the resume for this job. And that's going to be part of what I talk about. Like I said, not here long, but that's part of what I'm going to talk about, because you got to think about what she did give if she didn't give the resume. She didn't have the resume. She didn't. Her first real political job was Move On. That's not the resume. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get to it. I want to just let everybody see the attention-grabbing ploy lit up the Democratic. We know about that part. We know y'all gonna start to talking. Y'all love to talk. One former official recalled that Jean-Pierre had joked about becoming an independent even while on the job in the Biden White House, an off-key moment for some ostensibly serving as a major messenger for the Democratic Party. See, let me pause right there for a second. Your job, when we talk about celebrity, and everybody wants to be rich off public service. And I've told y'all that that's a problem. If you want to be a celebrity and you want to get rich, public service is not the place. We got too many filthy rich Congress people who can't explain where their money come from. This is not the place that you are supposed to get rich. It is public service. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be I get paid by the wealthy and I take their money and I get in and they tell me about stock stuff. No. And Jean-Pierre's job, she was supposed to be our servant to make sure that the public has access to what's going on in the White House so that you, through the press, answer our questions. That's the thing that she was supposed to be doing. She was not just a kind of a messenger. She was supposed to be a public servant. So another former official said that Jean-Pierre had begun working during the Biden administration with a New York-based publicist and had copied that person on official emails before some of Jean-Pierre's White House colleagues intervened. So you copying your publicist on emails? I'm just trying to find out what's going on. Why are you doing that? You trying to be a star? You're trying to be a star? Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to be, do you think your star is here? Okay, let me show you how they say her star was not here. Everyone thinks this is a grift. And I want everybody to understand that political is now kind of a conservative thing. So I understand that everything is being told through a slant. But this is a quote. Everybody thinks this is a grift, the former official said of Jean-Pierre's book project. I think it's a grift. We know it's a grift. It's just about what kind of grift. And as Biden's press secretary, Jean-Pierre's halting, ineffectual briefings, exasperated reporters, and routinely offered material for Republican Party's main account on X. She frustrated colleagues throughout the West Wing for focusing on raising her own profile while leaving the hands-on management of media relations and the White House press shop to aides. This is absolutely terrible. This is terrible to hear about. And what it signals is a collapse of, we've talked about here the accountability, political accountability, and it signals the collapse of political accountability and the rise of performance politics and the political entrepreneur who gets in here to promote and self-serve a brand. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen this. Y'all remember Obama's, what was she called? She was some kind of secretary, but not secretary of an agency, something like that. She was something smaller than that. But she always talked about Obama as the brand, the Obama brand, and managing the Obama brand. She never talked about Obama as the president or Obama as policy. We are in an era where, and this is true for Trump too, where brand trumps ideology, right? So you'll have a bunch of people now who, the majority, who may not be benefiting from Trump's policies, but they love the Trump brand. He's brash. He's in your face. He don't take no prisoners. Yeah, I like that. That's a brand. That's a brand. That don't have nothing to do with somebody's ideology, their politics, their policy. That is a brand. And we are in the era of brand management politics. That's a problem. I don't know if everybody see it, but that's a problem. Brand management politics is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've had that problem here in America for a very long time, right? Because you have to think of George W. Bush and all this stuff that Americans have about, I just want somebody I can go have a beer with. I don't need you to be my friend. I don't need to like you. I don't need you to be a person that I think I can hang out with and eat calamari, right? And chips and dip. I don't need that. And nobody should need that. You have people in your life who occupy that space. We don't need our politicians and presidents to occupy that space. That's not a space that they should occupy. We hire them to do a political job, and they all come and they tell us what ideas they have to fix the problems that we see in the country and maintain the good things that we see in the country, and that is their job. We got to get out of this whole mode of having a beer or having a drink or having a glass of Kool-Aid or lemonade or whatever you think you are. Black-eyed peas. Oh, he like black-eyed peas, like me chicken wings. Chicken wings? They're like, no. For what? You got nobody you can eat with. You can eat by yourself. You got none of that. You don't need, he's not your friend. And remember George Bush used to go, George W. Bush used to go, not George H.W., not Herbert Walker, George W. He used to go, and when he went home, to the ranch. Y'all remember he used to go and he used to cut up shrubbery. He used to go out there and they would show him raking, and he's on his ranch. He's doing hard work. He's on his ranch. He's shoveling grass. He's on his ranch. He's chopping down wood. He's on his ranch, and that's a brand. He's this rustic outdoorsy man in flannel shirts. He's like you. He likes to sweat. That is a brand. But a brand does not help your politics, and that's why this kind of thing is problematic. Now, some people will say that, well, Yvette, she's just like all of the other people who have run for office. I don't see what the problem is, right? And to that, I would say you have to think about it. When you think about Ari Fleischer, when you think about Sean Spicer, I don't think either one of those were competent press secretaries. I don't. But Sean Spicer had worked at the RNC as a press person, right? He had that in his background, regardless of what any of us think of him. He had that in his background. I'm being a press person in his background. Ari Fleischer, who was also a press secretary, he had that in his background. Karine did not have that in her background. So one thing that you have to consider is what was used to make up for not having that, right? What if you don't have that? If you don't have if your only claim to fame is moveon.org, which is just a political outfit, and you wrote in Glamour magazine or whatever, and you don't have the credentials for this job. So what does that tell you if you don't have the credentials for this job? Well, it tells you have the identity for this job. It tells you are a particular brand. And the brand that people are looking for, right? Person of color, first gay, first lesbian, first black. That's a brand. That's not a person. That's not an expertise. That's not an ideology. And we are in the era, like it or not, of brand. And what she is showing, I don't care what she say about why she's leaving. Like, I don't care what she say about why she's going independent. People are saying, oh, she's talking about going independent because she don't like the way everybody came at Biden, and that was just wrong. It don't matter. It don't matter. Because if you are a person who got this job when there were 1,000 more people qualified for this job, your job right now is institutional loyalty. Biden ain't decided he was going to become a different party just because of this. He was at the View not too long ago. Before his diagnosis, he was having a whole conversation. He didn't say, I'm not a Democrat no more because they treated me bad. What gives you the right to do that? Well, let's go back and we'll see what she thinks gives her the right to do that. We'll see. Let's go all the way back to what they say she going to be doing. Let's go back because they say she's looking for something. she's looking for something. Everybody's looking for something. Ain't that something? So this is not the one I'm looking for, though. But it's a good. Jean-Pierre will offer a view of the 3 weeks of the turmoil following Biden's miserable debate last summer. So she's going to talk about those 3 weeks and the betrayal of the Democratic Party. And I think she's going to try to make herself into some kind of martyr. Child, ain't gonna work. Jean-Pierre's former staffers offered withering criticism of what they see as an opportunity grift. I'm going to get to the other one though. So here's what she wants. This is where we are. A New York-based publicist, Gilda Squire. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Hold on a second. Worked informally with Jean-Pierre while she was at the White House, and was on multiple occasions copied on official emails before staffers raised the issue. I think I read this on HarperCollins. Squire previously served as publicity director for HarperCollins publishers and also did PR for Penguin Putnam Publishing, according to LinkedIn. And Jean-Pierre was the subject of several lengthy profiles in lifestyle publications, including Vogue and Women's Health, and traveled to New York to appear on The View. According to two former officials, Jean-Pierre had been hoping for a post-White House job as co-host on the show, following the template of her predecessor, Jen Psaki, who departed, the job after just more than a year for an anchor at MSNBC. But no opportunity materialized for Jean-Pierre. A factor 3 of her former colleagues surmised that likely led to the book. So you couldn't find no job. But here's the thing. You weren't good at the job you had. Listen, we just started seeing the woman. She was just all of a sudden, like some people, I keep trying to tell people, a lot of people just get picked. It don't mean they deserve to be there. They just got picked. She got picked. Somebody got her and brought her in and dusted off and said, listen, this is what your job is going to be. Somebody on my page said, oh, she couldn't get no job at CNN with her former partner. No, they broke up. Her and Suzanne Malfoy broke up. Suzanne had been at CNN for a long time. They broke up. So no, she ain't got no end at no more either. So what you gonna do? You gotta create something to make a whole mess because you want to be famous. You want to be rich. You want to be somebody. See, these people don't get into this job for public service, but I don't even think she got into it. She did this. She wrote for Glamour magazine or something, and she went to Move On. Her only political stuff is Move On. Do you understand what kind of trash resume that is to be White House press secretary, and now you're gonna turn against the party that built you out of nothing? You don't have no right to tell the party it was wrong to do nothing. You haven't been in the party long enough. You haven't been successful long enough. You don't have enough on your resume to do none of that stuff. All of a sudden, we just started seeing you out of nowhere on MSNBC. And then you had this little silly book. I forget what the name of it was. She thought she was doing something, but no such opportunity. Read that again. Materialized for Jean-Pierre, a factor. Ooh-wee. And let me just show you this real quick. Even the thing on her book, like that describes her book, somebody had put this up. It's so interesting. A groundbreaking revelatory assessment of America's broken two-party system. I guess she's gonna start a third party. In a country obsessed with blind, and I believe there should be at least 4 to 6 parties in America. It's so many factions, probably 6, 3 conservative, 3 liberal. It don't make no sense. 3 liberal to leftists, and it don't make no sense. But I don't know what she's doing. Jean-Pierre didn't come to her decision to be an independent lightly. She has served 2 American presidents, Obama and Biden. In 2020, she joined Biden's campaign as a senior advisor, becoming Harris's chief of staff, and then 2 years later, White House press secretary. She takes us through the 3 weeks led to Biden abandoning his bid for the second term. In an urgent, timely analysis, Independent urges all Americans to vote their values. This is so stupid. Like, people are voting their values within the limitations of the two-party system. When people can't vote their values, they tend to vote third party when their values are not seen. And what are you talking about? She's so slow. What you talking about? Vote their values. Dismantling the torrent of disinformation and disinformation and misinformation. So wait a minute now. Disinformation creep came when you were over there Move On. It was 4 or 5 people from Move On who were in that thing that smeared ADOS. And here's your thing, again, about dismantling the torrent of disinformation and misinformation that has been rampant in recent elections and provides passionate insight to moving forward. You got to explain that to me, because you seem just stupid enough to do that. And you don't have enough of the context of America in terms of going back multi-generations to understand that what our reparations fight was about. I can see how somebody like you would have thought it was coming from Russia. I can absolutely see that. You are just slow enough to believe that. But you got to answer for that. What was it, 6? So it was an enormous amount of people Move On. And then you have been talking about misinformation and disinformation. It sounds like you. You got to tell me it ain't. If you don't tell me it ain't, guess what? It's you. What we going to do? Come on now. You're supposed to listen. She's not me. Somebody would say, Vet, well, you speak independently. No, I'm speaking for a group of people. I speak on behalf of ADOS. She has chosen to speak on behalf of the Democratic Party. And after that, to speak on behalf of a president of the United States. You cannot go from speaking on behalf of the president of the United States, a Democrat, to saying that you're going independent. You do not do that. You have to have a certain amount of party loyalty. You signed up for that. I didn't. But see, y'all don't, these people don't do that. They are political mercenaries, paid to the highest bidder. That's who they are. They have loyalty to a personal brand. They have loyalty to a kind of celebrity. It's hard-hitting yet hopeful critique. Jean-Pierre defines what it means to be a part of a growing percentage of our fractured electorate that is independent, why it can be worthwhile to carve a political space more loyal to personal beliefs than party affiliation. Your whole life is built on one party affiliation. Let me just do something real quick. Let me just show you something real quick. This is why I know these people these are awful people. Yeah, you're right, fam. But these people are awful. Like, you're 10 toes down Democrat. And listen, it's not like the people who wanted Joe Biden out were crazy. It's not like listen, they saw some things and they saw polling and they saw him in a debate and they said he can't win. Who are you to decide that, oh, well, we can't do this right here with the party no more. We can't do this with the and for Democrats, for people who are Democrats, this is and what you're facing in terms of Trump. This should be an all-in moment. We got Democrats talking about all hands on deck, and you over here talking about you independent. See, that's why you got to stop picking these people up and dusting them off and blowing them off and slicking their hair down and giving them mop hair. You can't do that. I heard Joy Reid say, I heard her do an interview and she said, I don't understand how everybody's so slow. She said, and this is just in the context of that. She said, well, she thought she was saying something. She said, my bosses at MSNBC, they hated what I was doing online. And because it wasn't managed by them. It wasn't managed by them. And they hated the fact that I was not being managed by them and that they could not control what I was saying online, that it didn't come through their filter. And I'm thinking to myself, I would have too. You doing a show really almost set them up for a defamation lawsuit from Adolf. You tied us to Russia with no evidence. You brought this little dizzy girl on, or whatever her name is, and she didn't know what she was talking about. It's bots out there. Yes, it is, but they ain't us. I'm sure there are bots everywhere, and Twitter should have taken care of that. They even worse now. Gosh. And she said, well, they just didn't want to control. Joy, your Twitter was so bad. Somebody should have controlled your Twitter. Like, yes, you work for this company, and yes, they want to control you because you are their employee. They want to control how you come off. And you don't come off good. You got in a lot of fights on Twitter that were unbecoming from somebody who was an MSNBC TV show host. I can understand how they want to get you out of there. You were mismanaging your own stuff. You're like you were just being so controversial. You were just, they were just, no, you were bad at this. You were bad on social media. You were just, it was all this little slick, goofy stuff. And it made you one of the most hated people. It's not just because of who you are. People just hate me because I'm strong and black. No. You just get in fights you can't win. And don't you understand that these people pay you money, that they're invested in you? Child, Democrats paid Jean-Pierre money though, and she gone. She said, but she did all this. See, this was all a performance. The number one thing that the Democratic base wants is to beat Donald Trump. Well, if that's what you still wanted, what are you doing this for? This is a brand. This is all vibes and trying to sound deep. Ain't none of this got nothing to do with no values. This is all vibes. The difference is the liberals and moderates are connected in that way. The difference is in the issues. That's what excites the base. We're trying to see what the electorate is going to look like. 10 toes down Democrat. All of a sudden, the Democrats tell Joe Biden he got to go. And all of a sudden, you're independent. You want people to come back to their independent values and independent voice. What are you talking about? Like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? Do you smell toast? And I don't even understand. Okay, you didn't get the job at The View. And neither you nor Joy Reid got a job anywhere, which warms my heart. It warms the dark cackles of my heart. I promise you it warms my heart. The way I hollered today when I saw this. Because I saw a tweet from Simone Sanders saying that the group chats is lit back up, and I said, well, what happened? What happened when the group? What's going on? So then I do a little digging, and I see, oh, the howl I let out, because you deserve it. None of y'all deserve to land anywhere. No. Joy Reid in Variety talking about she gonna have a YouTube. So yeah, you deserve. That's all you deserve. That's all your life should. That's it. Everybody talking about that they better than somebody, and well, and they you blocking somebody like you doing something like you is somebody. They're all bots. Go tell your Russian handler. What? Okay. Okay. Got you. This though was a performance. All this stuff right here, this is a performance. All this Democrats won a ruby red state 3 weeks ago. 98% black women voted for the Democrat in Alabama. This is all of its performance. It's a lifestyle fit. She's managing her own personal narrative. And really, the truth of the matter is that now she should be managing and helping to manage the Democrats' narrative. But I think the other truth to that is don't nobody want her no more. She was so bad. Like, don't nobody want to be bothered with her no more. I don't even know. You didn't even land nowhere in like the party. See, I always pay attention to where people land and people who don't land. Like people who have been inside the party. I always wonder, like, why you ain't landed nowhere? Like, you know what? Not nowhere. The DNC, a spot. You not know. No, nobody wants you. Like, no. What's up, Bino? Like, no, nobody wants you. Nobody wants you. Your biggest credential is that you try to take down ADOS. I don't know. Move on to ADOS. That's not too good. That's not too good. Mm. And I think, fam, if I'm honest about it, you know, if I'm honest about it, and I try to be honest about it, this is a real bad sign, right? This is a real bad sign in terms of the Democratic Party is a mess. The Democratic Party is a total chaotic mess right now, and you cannot fire your VP. And I know that Biden wishes he could, but I also think Biden intentionally used Kamala as insurance because I think in his mind she was not ready for the job, and I think he knew he would get two terms because of how he felt about her and how a lot of people, including other Democrats, felt about her. But you could have fired your press secretary, and you should have fired your press secretary, and you do nobody any favors by allowing her, or maybe he wasn't cognizant enough, but there should have been somebody, chief of staff, who went to her office and made her pack her boxes a long time ago. And if she was even brought on in the first place. And she would not have been able to have this moment because she would have left in a sort of disgrace. You don't have this moment now. And so, to that extent, this is the consequence of a dysfunctional White House. This is the consequence of Biden, for whatever reason, not being in charge. Let me see if I read the rest of that. And not doing what he needed to do. Right? In terms of allowing people just to kind of manage their brands or being scared to fire her because a thousand black, quote unquote, black women are going to show up or whatever. You had to fire her. She was just that bad. What else she say? What else she said? I stopped in the middle of this last paragraph, I think. So I'll start over. In a hard-hitting yet hopeful in her summary of her book, Critique, Jean-Pierre defines what it means to be a part of the growing percentage of our fractured electorate that is independent, why it can be worthwhile to carve a political space more loyal to personal beliefs than a party affiliation, and what questions you need to ask yourself to determine where you fit politically. As a history maker, veteran public servant. Oh, I'm sorry, political analyst and independent thinker. She urges Americans to think outside the blue and red box as we consider what's next to save our democracy. You think about that. She's been inside the blue box. The blue box built you from nothing, and you encouraging people to think outside the blue and red box. Child, oh, she's looking for some money. Fox News, you want her? Fox News, I think she'll take it. I think she'll do it. If you come, listen, if the bag is right, I think she'll do it. Even though you made fun of her and you said all this stuff about her, I think she'll do it. Y'all think she'll do it? I think she'll do it. Anyway, fam, like I said, I'm not gonna keep y'all late. I'll take a quick break and come back if you want to call in or whatever. But I just wanted to hit this real quick. Oh, cause this is awful. This is awful. These, let me tell you, these little political mercenaries, you ain't gonna give me I ain't gonna find no job. Wait a minute, I ain't found no job. The View don't want me. I wonder who else they want. Do you think she tried out for the real? Do you think she couldn't get none of no political pundit? That means the MSNBC didn't want her. MSNBC used to have her own, but they won't give her no show or let her co-host no show. CNN didn't want her. Oh, anyway, fam, give me a second and I will be back. My goodness. All right, fam. All right. I don't know why the sound keeps coming in funky. So I'll get it figured. I'm not gonna do any calls tonight. Keep coming in weird. Oh my goodness. The music did a little bit too. So I don't know whether those things are connected, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, fam, listen, what y'all think is next for since I didn't get to ask y'all. What y'all think is next for Jean yeah. you supposed to have you supposed to have the Washington Williams. What is what's another name? What's you supposed to Mayor Jenkins supposed to be the first oh oh you gotta think about it. We didn't even have like in a normal like in a normal progression of a group, we will have the first ADOS man press secretary first. Then, because of all the other stuff that happens and open up doors for women, we'll have the first ADOS heterosexual female press secretary. And then, when stuff starts to open up, then you'll go to the first ADOS LGBT. You're supposed to go through you're supposed to go through our whole group. Like, that goes to show you that we've just been shut out. I don't even know how else to kind of describe it, right? It's just, but I mean, fam, like, honestly, like, who wants her as a consultant? I'm just saying, she was so bad. Like, I think you have to go back and look at some of those briefings. Like, I never seen nobody. She couldn't lie. She couldn't even lie good. Well, I told you earlier today that the president has been to the border. When? Well, he's been. Oh, she gonna be a coach on Obama part. Not for long. Obama don't listen. Obama don't like losers. I'm gonna tell y'all. He didn't really want. He didn't wrote a couple of the to run. You gotta understand. With all Obama's faults, he's still been a 2-term president, right? And in my lifetime, let me just say this too. I don't want to see another quote unquote black president. I don't, because if you're not gonna do nothing for me, you're just gonna get up there and then open the door for white folk to be radicalized, then I don't need you. And then they gonna come in here and they gonna be radicalized and start talking about Obama phones and they gotta take their country back. I don't need, listen, just stay there. Just give me if you're gonna do all that, just give me the white man. Put it on the shirt, just give me the white man. Give me the white woman. You're gonna just give me the same old stuff. And just because you look the way you look, white folks get radicalized in the right, January 6th. Hey, just give me, no, that's okay. I'm all right. I'm okay. I don't need it. I don't need it. So I'll let you, like I said, fam, I'm not gonna be here long today. But I'll see y'all Friday on Patreon at 2:00. Oh my goodness. I wholeheartedly agree. I listen. This is awful. I think this book is, she didn't have nowhere to land. And I think she mad at a lot of people who she don't have no right to be mad at. Sometimes people pick you up and dust you off, and you just got to be ready. Life will ask you whether or not you practice, whether or not you did the reading, right? All them times it'll ask you the question, and you're gonna have to give it an answer. And I don't know. So anyway, fam, those of you all who are, do not forget to, if you're on Patreon, the book club is June 12th. That's the $5 tier. The book club is June the 12th. Those of you all who are not, you might want to join June 12th. The Wrecking Crew, we're gonna talk about that book. To me, that whole thing is a precursor for where we are now, right? And I think it's good to kind of draw a line from there to here. So I think we should all have that conversation. And it's going to be an interesting conversation. And I mean, it might be a 2-parter. We'll see. Sometimes sometimes it bees like that. But we're gonna take care of it. We're gonna handle business. So I will see y'all. If you're on Patreon, I will see you Friday. If not, I will see you all same time next week. All right, fam. Keep it easy breezy, and I'll see you soon.